Welcome to the Cherry Picker, the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zach Cherry, and with me as always is.
Tim McKay from Tim McKay Beauty.
And today we are talking about From Dusk Till Dawn, released January 19th, 1996. This is a 30-year-old movie, believe it or not.
Yeah, that was my dad's birthday that year.
Just
I
that
just think
year,
of
no
that.
other year.
Well, yeah, that year it was January 19th. Every other year it was the 20th.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, the 19th. And then this movie made me think of Bordello of Blood, and that movie came out the same year. And oddly enough, it came out in August of 96, which is my birthday. So I was like, oh my God, one of these movies came out in January, my dad's birthday, and then the other one
Yeah.
came out in August, my birthday, but not on the same day.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always fun to like just go look up to see what movies, and especially horror movies, share the same birthday as you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
I've never
mine
done that.
are, yeah, you can easily find it. Just go on
I'm gonna do it right now.
like movie birthdays. Mine are Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which came out 3 years before I was born. But then there was also The Grudge, which
Ooh.
came out on my 19th birthday, and I went to, I think we talked about this when we covered The Grudge, but my my parents took me to the theater that night, and it was like the Wild West out there. There was like more people than there were seats, and none of us sat together. Like it was insane. And then I don't count this because it's like a streaming thing, but I'll say it anyway. That new Hand That Rocks the Cradle remake came
Mmm.
out on my birthday as well. Um,
That wonderful movie.
that movie that did not need to be made. Yeah. But yeah, it's always cool. Like let us know in the comments if you're watching this and if you're in the chat as well. What movie do you share your birthday with?
Mine is Weapons 2025. It
Right.
came out August 8th. And
Yeah.
then Strange Harvest, it's a mockumentary. And then the rest are just a bunch that I've never heard of. Abraham's Boys, The A-Frame, Kill Streak, The Only Ones, The Quiet Ones, and Sleep Stalker. So
Yeah.
Weapons. Woo!
And you know what else? You also share a birthday with a little known short film called Macabre because
That's
we
right.
also
The most
premiered.
important one of all. Because it's
We
yours.
premiered August 8th. Like it was the same day that Weapons came out. So
That's right. That's right.
there you go. Um,
Well, super exciting.
so
Looks like we have some fun. What?
did you see this when it came out, like in 1996, or were
No,
you like
no.
a
I had not even turned 5 yet, and I didn't watch this until later in life. I didn't see this until I was probably like in my 20s, for sure.
yeah,
Like probably within the past like 10 years, I saw it for the first time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't see it in the theaters. I was too young. I was like 11, but
Yeah.
or 10, but like definitely on home video, like in the late 90s, and
I think because it had like a Western vibe, I think I was like detracted from it for some reason. Which
mm,
like watching it, it's like it doesn't feel like a Western really, but like it just I don't know why it had like a grit to it that I think like I just wasn't ready for. Like I was
yeah,
more of a bit Bordello of Blood person, which had like more like it was more feminine and more gay. I don't know. And then like this movie
yeah,
was a little bit more masculine, so I think I liked the other one better if I
yeah.
was to compare them. But yeah, I
By
like
the
this movie.
by the by, so we got Amethyst Frost saying Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, released on his 34th birthday. Craig has
Mm.
Ghostbusters and The Gremlins. Grant has The Mist, and it seems Twilight and Gothica.
Ooh, I love Gothica.
Sarah's birthday is October 31st, so a bunch have come
Oh
out.
wow.
Most recently was Beginoa. It's Begonia,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have not seen.
I liked
Uh,
it.
and Bill Caitlin, Nightmare 4 was the number one movie on
Ooh,
my birthday. Yeah.
that's the movie that traumatized me for like a whole year of my life. I've talked about this before on the pod, but like
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street 4 specifically because it has the girl with asthma, and I remember I would get so scared watching the movie that I wouldn't breathe, so I thought I had asthma, and so my mom had to get me an inhaler for like a whole year. I had like a therapist because of it. It was like this whole crazy thing. But now
You're
I love horror
like
movies, so
Jenna Ortega in Scream 5.
yeah, literally I was her like for a whole
Yeah.
unnecessary. It was just a
Just
placebo. I was
did.
more like the kid in It because it was a placebo.
Oh, right. Yeah. Wait, which kid was
But
it?
Eddie, no, no, not
Oh,
Eddie.
right.
Was it Eddie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like Eddie, where I just had an inhaler for no reason because I would
He
get
had
so
like
scared.
every disease, under the
Yeah,
sun.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. And
Um,
we covered that not too long back. I already forgot about it.
mm,
But yeah, this I guess like I don't like I get what you mean about Westerns because I like that was a genre that I was never drawn to, but I've seen a few Westerns and I actually really enjoy them. Like there's something very well, I mean like a lot of them are Italian. So they have that very
oh,
like stylized European quality to them.
I didn't know that.
Um yeah. No, like
Wow.
they were huge in Italy, like in like the 60s and 70s, and I think it was just like
Like,
a
what's that
lot.
other 90s vampire? I think it's just called Vampires, right? John Carpenter's Vampires. That's like a
Oh,
Western vampire movie.
it's very Western. Yeah, we covered that a while back when Edward was is truth. I was gonna say
Still alive.
Edward was truth, but no,
When
he
he
still is.
was telling the
Yeah.
truth.
Now he's just lies.
No.
Love you, Edward. He
We
listens.
love Eddie.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's just like that's Vampire, like John Carpenter's Vampires is probably more so a Western type movie. This one to me just feels more like crime thriller caper that then becomes a
Mm.
vampire movie. And is it even a vampire movie? It feels like more it's like this amalgamation of zombies and some werewolves. So like it's really hard to say.
It kind of reminds me even a little bit of that other movie we covered, Demon Knight. Like those demons that just like
Right.
come alive at the end and they're all kind of
No, absolutely. So,
right.
and this is the like why we covered Demon Knight because we Sinners had come out last year.
Yeah.
And when Sinners came out, like everyone was sort of talking about From Dusk Till Dawn, and they're just like they're just doing From Dusk Till Dawn again, and people were like pushing back on that. Like people are very protective of Sinners, but it
Mm.
was this whole thing, and I was thinking more about it like it's kind of I get more of like a Demon Knight vibe because I feel like I obviously yes the From Dusk Till Dawn, but the Demon Knight of just in terms of like the idea of people being sort of trapped in a some sort of building while like the evil is like either outside trying to get in or
Hmm.
whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I still think that like Demon Knight, that wasn't a very popular episode that we covered a few months back, but I really enjoy that movie and I feel that it's why that works for me is because there's just such like interesting characters and
Mm.
everything that like you there's a villain in the movie who's like unmistakably like a character in the movie. And I think that one of the issues that I have with From Dusk Till Dawn is that there is no kind of prominent bad guy. And most of
Mm.
the like the characters, because they're just sort of peripheral, like the Salma Hayek might be like the mo like maybe she's like the HBIC.
Hmm.
But like all of these people, like once like everything starts to go haywire, they're all taken at like Danny Trejo, Cheech Marin, Salma Hayek. So it's like there's really nobody left, and they're just like going from like bit to bit. Like okay, now we gotta like burn everyone or like stake everyone, and it doesn't feel like there's really any sort of propulsion or like ticking clock that like they could literally just like lay in wait or like go lock themselves in a room and then wait till it's morning and come out. So I just the movie I kind of like where it starts and then where it ends not so much. So every time I've watched this, especially lately because I've seen it quite a few times lately, I just feel very disappointed by it because I think that
Oh.
it starts off really good, but what's interesting is that there was a television series.
Hmm.
Did you know about that?
No. Is it
So
the same kind of vibe? Is there two men on the run from police?
yeah, well, it's essentially the same story, and there was three seasons, and I believe it was FX, maybe. It was about like 10
Sounds like
years
an
ago.
sounds like an FX property.
Yeah. So there was three seasons from I only watched the first season. Because it deviates a little bit by the end, but like for the most part, like the first season is like the movie.
Okay.
And it was at least it was produced by Robert Rodriguez. I don't know if Quentin Tarantino had any involvement. I'm gonna say he did. But I enjoyed it, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, okay, I want to see what happens next, sort of thing. So I didn't actually see seasons two or three.
Yeah, I agree with you because I do like to have a main villain too. And I guess you could say that Salma Hayek was kind of like propped up to be because she was the only one that like well, because she was like the queen, but like usually when you
Yeah.
have like a head vampire, the thing is like everyone underneath them kind of dies with them or like they lose their vampire
Mhm.
powers or something like that. And that didn't happen in this movie. So she got eliminated pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
after that, there's still a bunch of movie left. And I think that like from my memory, I in my mind the movie was over once she died. So I remember like being like,
Mhm.
wait, there's still 40 minutes left. Like I was like, wait, what did I miss? So I must have only seen up until that point. I had never seen after that. So yeah, so that was kind of like interesting for me, getting to see that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. There was no central villain. I kind of agree with Amethyst. Like Richie was mainly the villain.
And but also taken out very early on in the runtime. So and aside from that, I also feel that there's not really a clear point of view protagonist either. Like I guess like probably George Clooney,
Seth. Yeah.
if like anyone, but it just feels like because you have Harvey Keitel and Juliette Lewis. So it's almost like it's kind of an ensemble, and then you like introduce these other like the Tom Savini and the gosh, help me out. The black
Did they try?
guy, Fred.
Oh, his I know his character's name is Frost, but I don't know his
Yeah.
real name.
I don't think they actually said his character's name.
I had to Google it. I was like,
Yeah.
what is this man's
But
name?
Tom Savini plays Sex Machine. And
Love him.
yeah, so it's like even though we didn't see how they got there, it's sort of like once every like all the notable vampires were killed, it just sort of felt like this ensemble of like here's all these survivors. But it just felt
Hmm.
like there nothing was really a challenge. It was just like things were happening. The movie felt very rushed, like we're just sort of like going through all the motions and
Yeah, especially
you know.
Selma Hayek. I feel like her character was so rushed, and then like she dies so quickly in the movie.
Hmm.
And that felt a little goofy. One thing that is funny though is apparently Selma Hayek hated wearing the makeup, like the special effects makeup to make her
The
look like
snake
that.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, she hated it and because like she was like used to getting so much attention on set, and when she wore that, no one was paying attention to her, no one talked to her. So she said she absolutely hated it, and I think that's so funny.
Yeah. Fred Williamson, by the by.
Mm.
Yeah.
Does by
Um,
the by mean by the way?
I guess, I don't know.
Oh my
It
God.
just sort of shows up
I've heard
as
you
it.
say it before, and I'm like, what the fuck? By the
What
by.
is he talking? By the by.
It reminds me of like by the
By the
bayou.
by the bayou. Yeah. Bayou. Rhymes
Oh,
with Caillou.
I'm glad Amethyst also mentioned that the vampire rules, because every property has different vampire rules, and that's always interesting. Like
Hmm.
in some properties, is like, do vampires mine silver? Um, Whereas like I feel like Buffy the Vampire Slayer vampires are my true vampires. Like those vampire rules in Buffy the show are my
Yeah.
true. Like they don't care about silver, but they can't be in the sun. They burst into ash when they die. So that was like are my vampires. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's fair.
Uh
Like, I would tend to agree with that. Like you just sort of like pick one property and go with whatever the
yeah.
rules are there. Because garlic is not really ever introduced in Buffy as like a thing. But like
Mm-hmm.
the two things that I really take away from Buffy in terms of vampire rules are you have to be invited in
Mm-hmm. Very
to enter
important.
a house, and when you die as a vampire, you turn to dust.
I love that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like that was one thing that always bothered me about the movie because of Buffy the movie, because when they just get stabbed and they just die. I'm like, no, they
yeah.
need to burst into smoke.
Like where do you put the bodies? Yeah. But that feels like very like old school. Like I'm even thinking like back to like Hammer, Dracula films. Like because didn't he like burst into flames when he was staked? I might be misremembering,
I
but I
don't
feel like
remember.
there's some like older vampire movie trope where you burst into flames when you die. So
Mhm.
they do that here, which it makes sense. But yeah, the any sort of lore where the vampire's just like staked and then they're a dead body. It just feels like that's a plot hole because then it's like, how do you explain, like the real world
Yeah.
logic of just like investigators coming in and be like, well, this is a like a murder victim
And then
who,
they would
because
find the bone structure to be weird when they do an autopsy, and
yeah,
yeah, no.
yeah.
No, no, no. We can't overthink it. They just have to burst into smoke.
Yeah. Before we go any further, let's just go over the typical housekeeping.
Yes.
So, if you have been watching or listening to The Cherry Picker for a while, or if you're brand new, thank you for coming here and choosing this as your preferred horror movie podcast, or at least one of the many that you listen to. We appreciate that because, we've been doing this
Mm-hmm.
for a while, or we've been around for a while, and it's nice to know that some people have set up home for us here. And if you would like to support the podcast even further, you can head over to my Patreon at patreon.com/Zach Cherry, ZackCherry. And with that support, depending on which tier you're at, for instance, if you are supporting at the Freddy Krueger tier, just $5 a month, then you get to join us every time we do these live stream recordings. As you can see, if you're watching, we've got the chat going, all the lovely people who are here with us tonight. Another perk is that you get to nominate and vote for the movie or the topic that you want us to discuss on the last episode of every month. And that
Mm.
actually happens to be next week. So we already had the nominations and they were voted upon. So next week, this is going to be really exciting. And this was
Ooh.
nominated by Stephanie Starbright. So this is a theme, it's not a movie. So Ghostface supporters get to nominate themes, which is really exciting. But her theme was the best, or sorry, not the best, favorite and least favorite films from each major horror franchise.
Dave. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm writing this down. Each major horror franchise. Oh my God,
Yeah.
so exciting. So now we need to come up with a list of what we think is the major horror franchises.
Yeah. And then we're gonna
Um,
we're gonna we're gonna trigger a lot of people by telling you what our favorite and least favorite is. So that's the distinction. It's not the best and the worst. It's the
yes,
favorite and least favorite.
it's our
So
favorites. That's
so
so
I
exciting.
yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Really enjoyed that theme. And thank you everyone for voting and nominating. Keep them coming. There's a lot of great options there. There's some that have like continuously shown up there and have
Yeah,
not made it through, but they've come so close.
poor Cube.
So Cube was one of them. Yeah, like speaking
So
of
many.
Canadian horror. But yeah, if you're supporting on Patreon, like all that stuff is available. There's also monthly horror reviews, which I'm a little bit behind on, so I got to get that going. I think the next one is Sleeping with the Enemy, which I watched. I'll probably have to watch it again because it was so long ago. I've just been so busy. But there's also monthly video calls with yours truly if you're supporting at the Ghostface tier, and also shout outs. I mean, you're credited at the end of every episode here, but also we shout out the top tier supporters. So I do want to thank. Firstly, the Michael Myers tier. We got Kyle Beard, Sam Levy, Ali Hamouche, Shane Allingham, Tim McKay, hey,
Me.
Horror Slut 95, Austin Hall, Final Girl Gemma, Cara Day, Michael Boswell, Michelle Hughes, and then Ghost Faces. Thank you, Eric Champney, Daniel Saturn, Stephanie Starbright, Baby Ghoul, Garrison Nichols, Craig Lynn, and Josh Burrow. I just talked to Josh yesterday, and Stephanie, I think I got your call on Wednesday. So
How did it
yeah,
go? How was
lots.
the call?
Well, fantastic as always.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so that's something that people can look forward to is you get a really
Yeah.
great phone call that is leaves you happy afterwards.
Yeah. We did it. I mean, it's by preference. We did a phone call, but sometimes we'll do like a Zoom or like an Instagram video, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that said, what would you say that From Dusk Till Dawn is about, Tim?
I think I've learned that I read better in that British accent that I do. So I'm just gonna do that from now
Sure. Yeah.
on. Two fugitive brothers take a grieving pastor and his two children hostage, forcing the family's RV across the Mexican border. Seeking refuge at a remote strip club to meet a criminal contact, they are suddenly trapped inside when the staff and patrons reveal themselves to be bloodthirsty vampires, forcing them to survive from dusk till dawn.
Yeah. There we
Woo!
go. Thank you.
I like this movie a lot, and I know, and I wanted to mention this because I know you haven't seen it, but the movie The Devil's Rejects, and I wonder if anyone else
Right.
agrees with me. This movie really, like in the beginning, with the motel, reminded me a lot of The Devil's Rejects, and I can't go into too much like spoiling that. It ends up being much different than the way that it things work out in The Devil's Rejects, um, to the family's benefit, but. Yeah, I felt that that reminded me a lot of Devil's Rejects, and then of course once they go into the bar part, that reminds me a lot of Sinners, like we've already mentioned.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. And that was a long intro. Uh, Black 50 yen, or is it Biak?
Or is
B
it? I thought it was Black Sun.
Blackson. Blackson. Yeah, I honestly, because so Sinners, and I've probably said this, like I like Sinners. Like I
You
don't.
hate it. Let's just be
No, no, no,
real.
no,
You
no.
hate
Like
the movie. No, I'm just
I've only
kidding.
seen it once, but I want to see it again because I think that it's like an extremely well-made movie. I think that the cinematography and the music were the best parts of it, but it was just way too long. And I felt that like the first
Mm.
hour, just like, yeah, like I get that like you want to introduce your characters, you want to kind of like get everyone like familiarized with them. But there's an efficient way to do that. You don't have to take that much time and that much like dialogue and exposition to do it. Um, and then like finally like when we did get to the big fight at the end, it lasted for 2 minutes, which is sort of like the exact opposite here, where it's almost like it went on way too long, like all of the
Yes.
action here. So there is like a middle ground, and that's why like I like a movie like Demon Knight because I felt that they were very efficient with setting up the characters. I think that like all of like the action and the horror was very consistent and well paced throughout the movie. Um, so with this, like in the case of From Dusk Till Dawn, I might actually like I've seen it so many times and I've seen Sinners only once, but I kind of might lean more towards Sinners. Like I think it's just like it's a clearly a much better made film.
Mm.
But there are aspects of From Dusk Till Dawn that I like appreciate because it kind of has that grindhouse quality because this is sort
Yeah.
of like they were making their grindhouse film before they being Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino when they actually like officially did the grindhouse double bill in 2007, which was Planet Terror and Death Proof.
Yeah, they're just best buddies that love working together.
Hmm.
I've heard, various things about them behind the scenes, like from Rose McGowan in her book.
Oh,
But
do
like,
tell.
oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
glad you asked. Just basically she was dating him. Well, she was like in a
She was
relationship
with
with
Robert. Yeah.
yeah, during Planet Terror, and Tarantino was on that set. He was acting, and he apparently it was like just very uncomfortable. Her and Robert were not doing well. They were like, he was being like really nasty to her on set, and like just their relationship was dwindling. And then Tarantino comes in, and I guess he was like either feeling her up or he was like making her feel very uncomfortable. And Robert Rodriguez was doing nothing about it, just like letting it happen.
Mm,
And that's like his girlfriend. And I know they broke up shortly after that movie, and she lost so much weight over the course of that movie. Like when she started, I think she said she lost like 20 pounds or something like that over the course of filming the movie. Because,
yeah.
yeah, interesting. But them together, they kind of give me that Eli Roth vibe, that like their that style of like lots of swears, boys being boys, that they kind of give me that
Yeah.
vibe.
It's it's definitely like this is like a boys movie. And it's funny, we were sort of talking about this before, and I said I'll save it for when we record. But I found an article because I was just like randomly Googling From Dusk Till Dawn while I was watching it, and this thing came up of just like how comparative to Sinners, they're like Sinners is a better movie than
Hmm.
From Dusk Till Dawn, and this is why From Dusk Till Dawn hasn't aged well. And it's sort of like going into like all of the like kind of like the way that like the female characters are written and et cetera and so forth. And I mean, I agree that they're not written in the best light, like, and especially like in a lot of these movies like this. But does that make it a worse movie? Like, I don't agree with that. Like, it's a product of its time for sure. Like, this is 30 years ago. But I mean, movies like that there is an audience for them. They do
Yeah,
appeal to them. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, if someone enjoys watching that, that doesn't reflect their values. It's entertainment. And I think that
yeah.
there's so many, like, like, Amethyst mentioned Faces of Death earlier. I can't remember if it was off pod, but like that film doesn't reflect my values, and I still enjoyed it, a lot. So it's like it's one of those things that you can't, I feel like we live in a day, an age where everything that we like is just like people kind of like wear that like a badge, like it represents your value. So you have to be like very careful of like what it is that you
Yes.
like and what it is you don't like. And if you
Yeah.
say that you don't like a certain movie, um it's almost like you're attacked for it. And it's not even it might even just it's nothing political or anything like that. It's just like a majority of people might have liked this movie, and if you don't like it, then it's just like, well, you're just kind of a
Yeah.
piece of shit, and like I don't know what's wrong with
Well,
you.
for example, like I agree with you because like you know how much I love seeing women in heels in movies. And
Yeah.
like and does it always make sense? No. Like did like but I loved in Batman Returns that Catwoman had heels on, and
Hmm.
I loved it so much. And then when I see like the new Mortal Kombat movie, because in like some Mortal Kombats, like Katana has heels on, and I would have loved to see that in the movie, obviously. No, she had boots on, flat boots. That's
Mm.
fine. Because that's a more logical and that's more modern, I'm sure. That because it's like, why would a woman be wearing heels? Like, but obviously those heels are for the male gaze, but like that's for like the male audience. So I think this movie, Dusk Till Dawn, it's obviously much more for a male audience. I think the women in the movie are to serve a purpose. They're meant to be just background hookers in a way, like dancers, strippers. They're not meant to be these full-fledged, strong characters. They're not meant to be
Yeah.
these intellectual women. And then Sinners, they are. They're actually well written. They're dived into. But this just isn't the movie for that. Dusk Till Dawn doesn't care about that. They're like, this is a
Hmm.
movie for men, and we want to just relate to the male audience.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue that they're for like Juliette Lewis and her character Kate, like she's kind of like her role is to just sort of like answer to the men in the movie, but she does sort of like push back a little here and there, and she's also like shown to have agency uh
Yeah,
to
I forgot all
to
about
to a
her.
certain point. So I
Yes.
actually I think that like she's not maybe like the best written female character, but I wouldn't like say that she's the product of like this is like a movie like for, written by men and whatever. And like even with Quentin Tarantino, who's kind of like in this hot seat lately for just like his controversial opinions of like just like blatantly disrespecting actors like Matthew Lillard, for instance. Um, and this is 1996, so like I think of Jackie Brown, which is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. And at the forefront of that, like the star of the movie is Pam Grier. And the themes of the movie is like this is like she is a black woman who's sort of like in this like she's a stewardess or flight attendant and has like gotten sort of caught up in a life of crime, and she's at a point in her life where she's just like she's older, and it's sort of like these themes of like if she can't like get out now or like work with the feds to sort of like bust the Samuel L. Jackson character, like her life is like not looking good in like whatever direction she goes, and it's just sort of like this idea that she can take control, and she does have agency over it, and she's sort of like this master manipulator and is able to get everything that she needs by the end of the movie. And it's sort of like for Quentin Tarantino to like get all this criticism but then be able to write a character like that, it shows that like I don't think that he has any sort of bias. I think that he is a filmmaker who just knows like good storytelling and like how to write characters and things like that. So for like from Dusk Till Dawn, it doesn't really call for like a like female characters like that. I do
Yeah.
think that like the movie would have benefited if Salma Hayek's character was more fleshed out and was like kind of presented as like the high priestess vampire
Hmm.
and had been the villain throughout the entire
Hmm.
movie. That would have been really fun, but unfortunately, he just wrote the film so she can stick her foot in his mouth and pour tequila down it. Because
Yes.
it was like this whole fetish thing of like putting himself into the movie to be able to receive that.
Yeah, I was wondering how that went because like I'm like, does Robert Rodriguez also have a foot thing? Because he was like doing the close-ups on, but maybe that I guess that was just all in the script. And you're right,
Yeah.
Tarantino wrote that in the script when he's like checking out her in the back of the RV. And I'm like, Juliet, what's her name? Juliet Lewis?
Yeah.
She was 16 when they filmed this movie. It's like,
Actually,
yeah, I mean that's what Siri said. I asked her, and oh hey Siri. Um and that's what Siri said. So I believed it. But I believe she was 16 when she filmed it, and she was super sexualized.
yeah, that's doesn't
Not
sound
true?
right. So she was born in 73. So she would have been
Oh, so
23
she's been
years old.
21. Oh wait, no, you're right. I can't do math.
Well, it's 20, 22, 23, like depending on when it
Maybe
was
she was
filmed.
playing 16 and
Yeah.
Siri just like heard and just didn't know what I
Yeah,
was
like
talking
she,
about.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
definitely a teenager, and I saw something. Sorry, I'm gonna try to keep
Yeah.
up with the chat here, because I think it was Amethyst or maybe someone else
Okay,
that
that's
said
not as bad then. She was
she was
playing
supposed to be a
16.
teenager. Yeah, or
Yeah.
sorry, Kate was supposed to be a young teenager.
Yes. That
So,
makes me feel better. Thank God.
mhm,
I was so
yeah,
grossed out when like we're getting close-ups of her and I'm like, is she 16?
yeah,
Um, yeah. I was gonna say I really loved the liquor store scene, like the opening scene that we got. Like right in the beginning, because I feel like that was such a cool way to start the movie. It's very I feel like Tarantino writing to have these long-winded conversations that like don't really have anything to do with the story. Like when we first meet the Texas Ranger, and he's like in the liquor store, and
yeah,
he's just talking to the liquor store owner for so long, going back and forth, and you wonder like who is he going to be a main character or not? You see the women in
mhm,
the back, and they're shopping, and I think that's a
yeah,
cool reveal that once he goes to the bathroom, it's a reveal that they were like being held hostage, and they had this whole argument of like, did you signal him? Did you signal him? And we learn really quick that Richie he sees what he wants to see. He has an active imagination, and he's literally just seeing like he believes that he saw
yeah,
this guy tip him off.
yeah. Which is funny because like I think in the series, now that I'm like remembering it, there's like a whole
Hmm.
thing with Richie that he sort of like does like they kind of delve into like the visions or whatever they has. But Michael Parks plays Texas Ranger Earl McGraw, and I love like this guy. I believe R.I.P. Yeah, 2017. But like he's such a great character actor. Like you've probably seen him in so many things, but he has played this character across like the continuity of so many Rodriguez Tarantino films. So it's like
Really?
he's dead. I think he's actually like in the sequel, although I know that it is a prequel. And I'll get to those in a second here, but he was in Grindhouse, like playing the same role. He's actually the father of Marley Shelton's character. So
Oh yeah.
whether or not like it's weird, like what is the timeline? Like does that take place after, or is he sort of just like, it's
He's just like the
like a
Brenda. He's just always
multiverse.
alive. Yeah, he's like Brenda.
Yeah,
Just keeps coming back.
exactly. Yeah, the scary movie Brenda. But I think he's played like other characters in it as well. Like I know that he was in Kill Bill as well. Yeah, he also playing Earl McGraw. He's the one that, if you remember, like he drives up to the massacre at the church at the beginning, and that's when when they find Uma Thurman and she's in a coma. Yeah, so just like
Wow.
this character, he just like shows up in all of these movies in like little bit roles like that. So he's kind of a staple, kind of like the way that the Big Kahuna Burger is also brought up, because like that's, I believe, isn't that the burgers that George Clooney brings back to the hotel? Maybe I'm thinking
I
of a
don't
different
know.
one, but that's like was introduced in Pulp Fiction. There's the cigarette brand, the Red Apple cigarettes. There's
Okay.
like all these like tie-ins that just sort of like show that like all of the films that exist in Tarantino and
That's
Rodriguez films are the
genius.
same universe. Yeah.
I think that's really genius. I think if you're gonna make like films that you love and like why not make them all in the same universe?
Yeah.
I think that's really smart. Um yeah, and then the person that he was talking to, the clerk owner, is from our friend from I Still Know You Did Last Summer. That's what I know him from. He's Ray's best friend from I Still Know You Did Last
Oh,
Summer, who gets like the hook through the mouth and pulled out the truck.
was that him?
Yes, because at first I was like, "What is he from?" I was like, "What is he from?"
Right.
And I was trying to think, and I was like, "Is he from?" At first, I thought he was from House of Wax. I thought he was the brother that drives them to the town, but I was like, "No, no, no, that's not him.
No, 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 no.
It's the friend from I Still Know
You're
You Did Last Summer."
absolutely right. Yeah, good eye. He's also in Identity, one of my
Yes,
favorites. Yeah.
I do love that movie too. I haven't seen that
Yeah.
in a long time.
Oh, I just watched it a couple weeks ago. It's so good.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, there's a lot of like interesting cameos in this movie. John Saxon plays like I guess an FBI agent. Like we just see him on the news. And I wish that he was in the movie more. Like I wish they had integrated that faction
Oh,
of
that's the
characters
guy
into the storyline.
from Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
Yeah, he plays Nancy's father in
Yes.
1, 3, and then he's in New Nightmare. He's also in the original Black Christmas. He's in Tenebrae. Um, yeah, he probably even more than I'm forgetting, but he's made his rounds. Another one, R.I.P.
Is he a wig
Very
wearer like Billy Zane? Do I have that correct?
John Saxon?
Yeah. Was
I
it?
don't think so.
I don't know why I thought I remembered hearing that
A
he
wig
wore
wearer,
a
no.
wig. A wig
Uh,
wearer.
John Saxon, like just very handsome older gentleman, and
Yes.
even like when he like you look up John Saxon, there's like photos of him when he was younger, just like you know, va va
Mm-hmm.
voom, um,
You love him.
as they say. It's funny because like I think when I first saw this movie, I had like a huge crush on George Clooney. Like that was like
Mm.
he was sort of like the older distinguished like daddy, and then I
Yes.
wasn't really into that like very much like further outside of that, but I just remember like I'm like, oh yeah, George Clooney. Never watched ER though. Never. I remember seeing like Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
He was in.
Well, he did Batman,
Right.
what was it? Around
And
this time, like a
Robin,
year
yeah.
before this, maybe, or the same time as this, or whatever. Yeah, I thought he was great. Like, I mean, they're both terrible people. Him and his brother Richie are both terrible people, and it's funny that he becomes like the main character at the end. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but he's shown to have a conscience. Like they kidnap that woman. They have this woman named Gloria as their hostage, and I like when he
Mhm.
comes back and just the look on his face when he's like, "Where is she? Where is she?" And he looks in the bedroom, and you get these quick little clips of blood and of
Yeah.
this woman dead, and so in the rage he feels like he's genuinely upset with his brother. He's like, "This isn't what we do. This isn't. We're not just killing just to kill." Like, so
Well,
I think
because
that's supposed to be some kind
he
of character development.
Yeah, well, and I was wondering, because like he has a lot of like interesting ticks throughout the movie, but in that moment, because he was bringing back the burgers, and he was holding two, and I think that's how he realized, because he got one for her, like they bought food for her too, so he was like holding them. It's just like, wait a second, what's going on? Like, where is she? It was sort of
Mm-hmm.
like the moment he realized. But
Mm-hmm.
I love when he's just like, we do not kill people that we don't need to. Like it was almost like
Yeah.
it was like a smooth, like very like fluid uh transit like dialogue there, but it was like it almost reminded me of like the it's not like we kill people on purpose, which we
Yes.
use in the show for the cherry picker of from Jawbreaker, Rose McGowan.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Rose McGowan, um, Dementia the Clown actually mentions Bruce Campbell has a cameo in the sequel, which is true, along with Tiffany Amber
Oh,
Thiessen. I have all of the movies, and I have not watched two and three in a long time. I kind of want to, but yeah, I've got the first one. I've got them all on DVD. I
wow.
don't know where you like I think you can watch the first one on Tubi, at least like here in Canada. But
I
there's
rented it.
two which has Robert
Okay.
Patrick
And
from
Danny
like
Trejo again?
Danny Trejo's in all of them.
Oh,
And
I
I
love
think
that.
like this is a so two and three are prequels. It's like they go backwards. Like each movie goes
Oh,
back in time.
okay.
So
Yes.
this takes place like sometime before because I do recall them saying into because the Earl McGraw character shows up and he's talking about the Gecko brothers. So like they're on the run, but it doesn't two doesn't really take place at the bar from what I remember. Like
Okay.
they go to the bar, so it's like the bar is still around but then they leave very quickly. But then there's three, which is like takes place like way in the past. So it's like actually more of a Western, like it's just like old timey.
Is that Rebecca
Rebecca,
Gayheart?
it is Rebecca Gayheart. Rebecca
Ah, I
Gayheart,
know those evil eyes.
yeah, lots of eyeshadow on this cover
Love
too,
it. You know, I love it.
with her, yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, the Texas Blood Money and the Hangman's Daughter,
I
and I
like that you say
believe.
hangman. I like that you say the hangman.
Did I say Hangman or did I say Hangman's?
Well,
Hangman.
I think you said the hangman.
The Hangman.
I
The
think that's so cute.
Hangman's.
The
The Hangman's
hangman's
daughter.
daughter.
The
I would say
Hangman.
hangman. I would say the hangman.
Hangman.
But now that sounds weird.
Hangman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen this. So I remember the third one being better than the second one, but I don't know, maybe I'll check them out
I'm
soon.
curious now because I'm seeing some actors that I recognize, so I'm curious.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
but
and
yeah, so
actually, yeah, Michael Parks, who plays Earl McGraw, is in the third one. It says Grant Dempsey. I'm just like he's on the cover here, playing a different character. So there you go.
oh, well,
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah, well, Danny Trejo, I wanted to mention, looked so good in this movie. Like I've never seen him in such good shape.
yeah. Well, I mean, much younger here than he because he's
Yeah,
like how old? He's probably in his 70s now. I would wager. So
true.
he's probably right, like in his 40s at this
Um,
point.
but yeah, so they all get in the motorhome and they head south of the border to Mexico.
Hmm.
And I actually really like the scene where the cops come on board and the way that like they actually help them. Like the dad's involved, like the daughter's involved. They're all kind of
Hmm.
involved with like hiding these two guys. And I thought that was kind of fun. And
Yeah.
once again, I'm so glad that she's not 16 years old because they open the door and she's just peeing in her underwear and like she's like,
Well,
"Excuse me," and I'm just like, "Oh my God." I
yeah.
felt very uncomfortable thinking she was 16. So,
Well, no, well, I don't know if she's 16 because she does say at a certain point because when they're all at the bar and they're drinking, and she's like, "I'm not 21," and
well, Siri said
they're
16, and I believe 16 has to come into play somewhere.
yeah, uh, 82 is how old Danny
Wow.
Trejo is. Thank you, Amethyst.
Oh,
He
2 days
turned
ago.
82 2 days ago.
Wow.
A
Happy birthday.
Taurus.
What a good guy.
Danny Trejo is much younger here than he was on Drag Race. I've never actually watched Drag Race.
I think of Halloween from Rob Zombie.
Oh, yeah, he's sort of
Come
like
on, Mikey.
the nice,
Hmm.
orderly,
Who gets brutalized? Yeah.
brutally maimed, my dear.
And then this
Uh,
is much more niche, but he was also in the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, the one that was like the Halloween witch one. Like, did you ever see that one? Like her grandmother's a witch.
no.
they're like, well, their grandmother's a witch. It was so good. I always liked the Halloween version of everything growing up. So like
Yeah.
there was like out of all the Mary Kate and Ashleys, there was one where like they have this aunt and she's this like witch, and
Aunt.
Danny Trejo's in it, and so good,
Yeah.
so good.
He's also like in all the Spy Kids movies, if anyone's seen them. I think I saw the first one, but it wasn't like my wheelhouse. But that's also Robert Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez has like a very colorful repertoire of films.
Yeah,
So I mean, like I'm sure we've talked about The Faculty
yep, love it.
for sure as well. But then he had like the Once Upon a Time in, there's like I think it's like the Desperado trilogy because there's like El Mariachi, Desperado, and then Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, Grindhouse, Planet Terror. Help
I
me out
loved
here.
Planet Terror. I feel like not
Yeah,
a lot of people like that movie, but I loved Planet Terror.
yeah. Sin City. Never saw the sequel to Sin City.
I wasn't a big fan of Sin City. I
No.
couldn't like watch it. Like it was too visually like manipulated where I just like couldn't my eyes couldn't
Yeah.
focus on it. It was like watching a cartoon. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's fair. Craig is saying that Juliette Lewis is one of the few actors nominated for an Oscar for a horror film, Best Actress in a Supporting Role, 1991 for Cape Fear. So,
I
yeah.
really like Juliette Lewis. I think she's such a
Mhm.
good like just a good realistic actress. Like she just never upplays it. She's very like lived in. She plays everything very lived in.
Yeah. What was that video that she was the Britney Spears thing? You know what I'm talking about?
But about Juliette Lewis?
Yeah, she was like in her car or whatever, and she was just like going off about like just like it. I always get it confused because there's remember that like video from like years and years ago, like the Leave Britney Alone one. It's not that, but it was like a
Uh-huh.
it was just like what's going on? I don't know. She's always a lot of fun, but I always think of Natural Born Killers when I think of Juliette Lewis, and for some reason Ma, because she's in that as well.
Oh
And
yeah.
now they're making a sequel to it.
Which which I think is it going to be a prequel? Because like, how is Ma going to be in it?
I think she got away at the end, if memory
She
serves.
no, she didn't. Not to spoil Ma, but she did not. She like
I
lets
think she.
herself.
No, I'm pretty sure she got away. I'm pretty sure she got away because there it was like we didn't we never found the body or whatever. So
Oh, I thought
yeah,
she went up and laid down next to the guy that was in her bed,
I think that that's like what happened. But then it was
and she
she's
got
like
away.
just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she actually leapt up and ran out.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so Tom Savini, he did not do the makeup for this movie. I was like curious because I know that in the past he acted and did the makeup for another movie. Maybe it was one of the oh, Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead, like one of those movies from the 70s.
Yeah,
He would do both. He would act and he would do the makeup. So I was wondering if that
yeah.
was the case in this one. He did not do the makeup in this one, but he did act, and I loved his character, Sex Machine. I think he was probably
Hmm.
like my favorite character. Um, he was a great fighter, had all these cool little gadgets and gizmos,
Well, he
and I
had his
liked
whip, and then he had the
the
cock and
crotch gun.
balls. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
fun. And I thought his makeup looked cool too.
Yeah, I want to say like some of the practical effects in this movie are really well done, but then the CGI is pretty dated.
Awful. Yeah.
Yeah, and they do not blend together well when they're used in tandem.
Yeah, I was listening to like I guess it was like a commentary kind of thing, but it was like they like did like three different stages. So they would like if they did like a transformation, they would have like the vampire, then they would have like the mid look, and then like and they would do some veins and they would draw some whatever, and
Yeah,
then they would do the final look, and they would just kind of edit those three together. And yeah, so they just did not have the budget to make
yeah.
it look believable
Well,
in
there's
all
the
most
one
cases.
like when the one lady closes the door and like locks it, and she's like, "Dinner is served," and her face sort of like morphs into the. It's almost like this pig face. Like it
Hmm.
reminds me of like something from like Zelda or something like that. You know, those pig
Hmm.
guards. But it's just it looked pretty ridiculous. I love how like the band is like once everyone transforms, suddenly their instruments are now like the
People.
limbs and like bodies just
Yes.
sort of
That was so gross.
did they just like pull that out? They're like, yeah, now we can use the good stuff.
So clever. Just so
Yeah.
clever that it's just like now that you see who we really are, you see what we're like really
Yeah.
what really everything is so macabre about
Yeah.
it. But yeah, and even Frost, like Frost's makeup, like he didn't look like a vampire. He had this like weird face that was like split
They
super
really kind
wide.
of like, and they did this with Danny Trejo as well, but they really like enlarged the neck. Like the neck and the shoulders like kind of became like one entity.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if that
Yeah.
was just easier like prosthetic wise. I'm not sure. But
Yeah. Amethyst is asking, does this look like a $19 million budget besides the bad CGI? Sure, I guess. I mean, and that's 19 million in 1996, so like, adjusted for
wow.
inflation would be a lot more. And I think so. Like, especially when you look at the cast and well, like George Clooney, maybe not at this point because I guess he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And he hadn't
wasn't a
even done
big
Batman and
deal.
Robin yet. That wasn't until
Well,
97.
Harvey
And
Keitel is first build. So
who's that again?
Harvey Keitel,
Yeah,
he
who's that
plays
again?
the father, Jacob.
Oh, Jacob. Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
So
yes.
I
The
think that like
priest guy.
Harvey Keitel was probably the most recognizable actor of the bunch at the time that this came out.
Yeah,
And if he's first billed, like that's contractual, so he was probably paid the most as well. So I don't know. Like I guess maybe it's the CGI. Like CGI is expensive. Um
especially back
and
then. Especially
us
back then, if they're going frame by
yeah.
frame, like yeah, a lot of the goo, like turning them into goo when they die, that looked a little
Hmm.
silly. But um,
Yeah.
I, I,
It's
I, well, speaking of the dad, really quick, I just wanted to mention, I thought it was hilarious when like they are found in the hotel room and the dad's with the son, and they're like, "What are you two, a bunch of fags?" Like just a couple fags. Oh, sorry to say that word on camera, but I just thought that was hilarious the way he says it. And then he's like, "No, it's my son." He's like, "Your son?" Like I forgot what he says. He's like, you don't look something." And
Japanese, and he's like, that's because
yeah,
he's Chinese.
yeah. I thought that
Yeah,
was actually kind of funny.
yeah. But then there's also like, it's just like, well, the mother could have been. But I guess he was adopted, or like
Yeah,
that
I
was
assumed he was adopted.
yeah, that was the case. Because like Juliette Lewis is not Chinese,
Yeah.
clearly. Unless maybe she does have Chinese ancestry. I don't know. But uh, yeah, Black Sun is saying that Selma Hayek wasn't big yet either. But she was
Yeah.
in Desperado, I think
Was
at that
she?
time. I believe so, because and that was like maybe what, like 94, 95,
Yeah.
maybe even earlier. But yeah, I remember her because Selma then did The Faculty, well, like several
That's
years later,
right.
and she played the nurse. And I just remember like she kind of goes from this like sex pot, like dancer. I forget the character. It's like Santiago Pandemonium or something like that. The character
Oh,
that she plays
yes.
here. Yeah,
Santanico
Santanico.
Pandemonium.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then she's just sort of like the nurse in The Faculty, and they've like in that movie, like she's always sick. Like she's like, I'm saving my
Mm-hmm.
sick days for when I feel better. So they really kind of like, not that you can make Salma Hayek look frumpy or anything, but they just like, had to make her look like she was like all puffy and like sneezing and all
Yeah.
that the whole time. It was such a funny juxtaposition for her to like be in a Robert Rodriguez movie or two and go from
Yeah.
like that character to that character. Such range.
I loved her so much in Wild Wild West. Did you ever see that movie?
I've never seen it.
Oh my God, I
No.
loved it so much. And like I don't think anyone else does, but I loved it. And she's in it and she plays like a saloon girl and like
Yeah.
again another Western vibe at a brothel club. And
Yeah.
she's like this like saloon girl and she's so good. And she's every time like she's in love with like Will Smith, like she has like a crush. And so she's like she always has a different word for him. Like she's like, oh, he's so courageous. Or like, oh, he's so manly. Like she just always has
Yeah.
a different way of describing him with these like dramatic close-ups and I love her in that movie. I think it came out like around the same time, maybe like 98,
Yeah.
97. Um,
Amethyst is also reminding me that everyone gets hotter after they're absorbed in the faculty.
Yeah,
So did Famke, Famke Janssen, because she sort
I
of
know.
like had a
They had to
she was
ugly
kind
her down a little. Not ugly her, but
yeah.
you know,
Well,
they made her
they
not
gave her
hot.
like glasses and
Classic
like
90s
her hair.
uglification.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was just very mousy. She wasn't ugly, but they made her mousy, and then she was like Xenia on a top, suddenly. Um,
Yes. Wait, is she the
so
one from the house on Haunted Hill?
she was in House on Haunted Hill, but I
Yes,
was like,
that's the character
but like I think best known for well, probably best known at this point as playing Jean Grey in
for
the
sure.
X-Men movies, but like
100%.
also Xenia Onatopp in GoldenEye, James Bond.
Oh, that's from
Yeah,
James Bond. Okay.
yeah,
I thought you were mentioning her character from House on Haunted Hill.
yeah.
Yes.
But it's yeah, because that was like a star-studded cast with the faculty. So like Robert Rodriguez was like really like his star like really blew up like after
Mm.
like Desperado and this movie that he could do the faculty and like I wonder how much of that budget was. Like I don't imagine that every actor in that was paid an enormous amount, but I yeah, 19 million for this in 96, like I I I'd imagine most of that went to like set design because I don't know like there's definitely like the facade of the building and I don't know how expensive that would have been, but like they built the whole interior and I imagine what we see at the end, like when they drive away, like that's digital effects, right? Like the sort of like
That must be like a
ruins.
matte painting. I thought that was like a matte
Yeah,
painting type of thing.
yeah,
Um, just to compare, this is so crazy. I mean, I know it's way more campy, but Bordello of Blood, which also had the scene with like, the ballroom mix with like the whole all the vampires and everything, that was
yeah.
only a budget of around 2.5 to 3 million. So there's a
Wow.
huge, huge, but I don't know if there
Yeah.
was any CGI in that movie. It was not nearly as good for sure.
I
There
also
was like that
think
red
that
electricity look that movies did back then.
so this was Dimension and this is before Scream came out. So this is actually like this is, one of their horror movies that kind of predated that. Like they also did Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers and some of the Children of the Corn. But I know that like they made more money from probably like the Miramax pictures because there's a lot of like
Hmm.
prestige, like Oscar prestige there. But like from everything that we know about the Weinsteins and sort of like the trajectory of their company is that they spared no expense. Like they're just be like just throw money at things.
Yeah.
And I think that at this point for like Quentin Tarantino coming from Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, they're probably like, oh, this is going to be a huge draw. And especially like with Robert Rodriguez for like Desperado as well, they're like, yeah, let's just throw all this money in it. People are really going to be like into like, Tarantino's a hot commodity right now. So I could
Yeah.
see them just being like, yeah, just put like throw all the money in it. It doesn't matter. Let's just do it for whatever cost it is.
I could totally agree. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, I mean that just makes me think of Scary Movie and how like it was being made at the same time as Shriek, as if you know what I did last Friday the 13th. And Shriek actually was started production first and was written first, but because it was made by the Weinstein's Scary Movie, they were able to push that along a lot faster and come out
Yeah.
first. So yeah, I could see that.
And Amethyst is reminding me that Hellraiser 3 and on were Dimension 2. So, yeah. A lot of straight to video.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember last week when we first brought up this movie, you had mentioned Cheech Marin. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Cheech Marin. Um,
Cheech Marin or Cheech Marin or from Cheech and Chong.
yes.
Yeah.
And I remember not knowing who that was when you mentioned it, but then when I watched this movie, seeing him pop up a few times, three times,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that's the guy, that's Cheech.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was really funny. Really good. He
Yeah.
breaks the fourth wall in his first character or second character.
Second character. So the first character, he's the border patrol guard, the one who's sort of
Yes.
like opens the door and she's sitting in there. And okay, so he's like knocks on the door. He's just like border patrol or whatever, and she's like, "It's open," and then he opens it, and she's sitting there, and it's
Her
like I know that this is part of whatever she needs to say to get him out of there, but
ruse.
I
Yeah.
love that she's just like I'm taking a piss or whatever. She's like, shut the door." And it's
She
just
looks all
like, but
innocent.
you just said it's open. Like I don't like, but he's like being all creepy and he's like,
I know, perv.
yeah, and
Again, I
like,
was like 16,
yeah,
which maybe she's not, but in my
yeah.
head, yeah.
Oh my God, I was so frustrated with Richie in that scene because it's just like, shut the fuck up. Because like it's like,
I
why are you doing
know.
this now? Why are you like? I was so happy that he knocked him out.
I know.
But
It's like that like whiny kind of like sniveling.
the
Yeah.
ego just sort of like, why are you saying this about me? And it's just like, we're gonna go to prison for life if you don't shut up. But
Oh, I love that he gets knocked out by George and then
yeah.
by Seth, and then when he wakes up, I love that Seth is like, "Hey, are you sure you're all right?" And like, and Richie's just like, "Yeah, yeah, I think so."
It's like that. I don't know what this is from, but it's like I've seen this video where um this woman, like her lover is in bed and she like comes home and I guess she's mad at him and she just sort of like slaps him and then he's like woken up out of sleep and she's like, "Oh, are you okay? You were having a bad dream. What's wrong,
Mm,
baby?" Uh
yeah.
yes, okay, so Cheech then plays the door man, I guess, the one that's all about the pussy of just like all
hmm
the different kinds,
Yeah.
which is actually quite hysterical. But yeah, he's the one that breaks the fourth wall. And then he gets knocked out for a while because it's like when he eventually kind of strolls back into the bar, it's like a lot of time has passed.
Well, yeah, he's the
Yeah.
reason why everything kind of takes off, right? Why everything.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of domino effects
Yeah.
happening here. But then he's also the contact. I forget the name of the character that shows up at the end. The one who like recommended the titty twister bar for them to
Yeah,
meet
he was
up
like the
with.
drug. I thought he was like the kingpin drug dealer guy, like the
Yeah,
head drug dealer.
the one who's like gonna give them sanctuary. And I love the sort of like because they're bartering at the end, but like just the kind of like the hypocrisy of George Clooney's character. Because like for the most part, like he's the good brother, he's, like obviously is always gonna look better compared to Richie and all of his crap. But at the end here, he has this whole argument. He does this a few times in the movie where he just sort of like gets up on his like soapbox and or he's like showboating or something or another. But at the end here, he's just like, that girl's whole family is dead because of you. And all I could think is like, well, actually, they would have been fine if you had just not taken them hostage to begin with. So it's just like, is that really his fault? Or,
I
would they?
know they try to make him a hero at the end. Like it's just funny that we do a complete
Yeah.
switch where you're like you kind of forget. You're like, yeah, I'm glad that
Yeah.
he survives, but then like, he survives with Juliette Lewis with Kate, and it's just funny because
Yeah.
it's true. Like her whole family is dead, and she just like stoically gets in the truck and drives away at the end. I thought that
She's
was
like
so
kicking
funny.
dirt and
She's
like,
like the
well,
classic character that just survived a horror movie. I'm like, your whole family is dead.
yeah.
Where are you gonna go now?
Yeah, no, I'm more interested in her as a character than any of them. But yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, Seth, you want some company? And this is probably like the only like good thing that he did. He's like, I may be a bastard, Kate, but I'm not a fucking bastard. And he's just like, go home. And he gave her some money.
See, I mean, at that point, I was like, maybe you should just go with him then, because like, what you've been through
Yeah.
something really bizarre that no one will ever
I
believe.
I think that like that's the series she goes with him.
Oh, really?
But I didn't like carry on to season two to know what happened next.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
didn't care what happens in the dawn, just the dusk until the dawn.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, but yeah, there's another moment like it's like when they're talking about the rules of vampires and he's just like vampires are not real, except they are, but whatever the whole thing is just like, oh, just shut up. And even like Harvey Keitel is just like, would you just like I'm sick of your crap.
hmm
When he finally like punched him and then like took his glasses off. I also noticed that Seth, like he has no problem like punching people with glasses.
That's so funny. I mean,
Yeah.
I just remember him punching his brother, but
But
he's
also like
like,
when they first go into the hotel room and he just like right like smack in the face of
oh
like
yeah,
Keitel. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so true. Like a hard punch. Yep.
Hmm.
Um, and I couldn't believe that they kill the son so brutally in this movie, just because he's a kid.
Oh, he gets like blown up to smithereens too.
Yeah, and he's like asking for it too. He's like, "Kill me!" I'm like, "Oh my God, he's supposed to be
But
younger than Juliette Lewis."
let's be honest, like both him and the dad and Harvey Keitel, they had absolutely zero survival instincts. Like none
Yeah,
whatsoever. Like
he
Kate
kind of
did.
reminded me that I wonder if Sinners had a moment like that when it was the old guy, the one that was like playing the harmonica. That guy, he gets ripped apart by all the vampires, and he kind of sacrifices himself. So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit.
Yeah,
I wonder if
I
they
don't
got a
really
little inspo
remember.
from this. Oh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was surprised that
Amicus
they.
is saying children is the Stockholm syndrome. That's like actually very true because it's like they get to a point where Kate, I remember like when Richie is like first bitten or something, like she's just like, Richie, no. Like it's just like this guy is like a creep to the max. Like who knows what his intentions are towards you. Why are you so concerned that he's getting killed right now? Like it was strange.
But he's a very bad guy, especially because he killed that
Yeah.
woman Gloria. Like I
Yeah.
felt horrible.
I mean, they
Um,
didn't know about that, but they spent
yeah.
time in the RV with them. Like they know. It's just like
And then he has
I
the
don't
ugliest transformation. Like his head gets huge. Like I wonder if that's because he's like has such a big ego, but his hair cut with the little bang, with the Gale Scream 3
it
bang,
was
and then
more like what his hair like typically looks like. At
yeah.
least like at that time, because he it was more like styled a little bit in this, from what I recall.
Um,
But
but
yeah,
I
he did have like it's almost like they're like when bodies like decompose underwater and they just sort of like puff up and all that. Like that's what a lot of the vampires looked like in this.
yes, very bloated.
Yeah.
But I think either the motel or the diner, I can't remember which one, was named the Dewdrop, which that made me think of Scream 3 as well, because
Patrick
doesn't
Warburton.
yeah, doesn't
Yeah.
he call him that? He's like, "Hey, Dewdrop.
Dewdrop.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dewdrop."
Dewdrop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I thought of that when I saw
Hmm.
that name.
All right. So Craig is saying that I honestly think the only Quentin Tarantino films I like are the Kill Bill series and Inglourious Bastards. Tim, have you seen all Quentin Tarantino films?
I love I actually think I like all of his movies. I love Inglourious Bastards. I like the Django. I don't really remember it, but I know I liked it when I
Yeah.
saw it. And I never saw Hateful Eight, so I actually don't remember. I can't talk on that one, but I
Yeah.
know I liked did he do Planet Terror or Death Proof?
Death Proof.
Okay, so I liked that
Yeah.
one less, but I still liked it. And I
Yeah.
love Kill Bill. I love the Kill Bill movies, yeah.
Yeah. It's also, I mean, like, because I wouldn't constitute From Dusk Till Dawn as a Quentin Tarantino movie. Like, he wrote the script, but then if you're counting that, then there's also True Romance and Natural
True.
Born Killers. And I think he like hated Natural Born Killers, if memory serves.
Mm.
Just because like it just whatever Oliver Stone's direction was. Maybe I'm just making that up. I don't know. But because that happens sometimes. I misremember things and I just make up total lies on the
Yeah.
podcast here.
Just
But
go with it.
no, as far as I am aware, it's like he has 9 movies. So Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill, which is like 1 and 2, but I think it's just sort of counted as one movie now. And they did re-release it recently as like The Whole Bloody Affair, which I
Hmm.
did not see because it just seemed too daunting to like go and sit through like a 4 hour movie.
I do want to watch it again because I think they took out the black and white, like during the fight scene.
Oh,
I think they put it in color now. Because they don't have to like get an R rating. They could just have
yeah.
whatever rating they want.
Okay, interesting. Um, so then yeah, after Kill Bill, I believe it was Death Proof. So one, two, three, four, five. Then Inglorious Bastards,
Love it.
Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh
And
yeah, I like that one.
apparently he's stopping at 10, but he's just not. Every time he has an idea, he'll like be like, "No, I'm not doing that." So it's
Well, if
like,
you, well, yeah, if you're putting the pressure of it being your last one, I mean,
yeah,
geez.
that's exactly what it is. I did not care for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, like, because I've seen it twice. I saw it in the theater, and then I watched it more
Hmm.
recently, and it took me about three times to get through it. Because I just like, ugh, I'm just kind of, it's so tedious. But I don't know, like, it has that quality. It has that like sort of like hangout feel that a lot of his movies do. But I don't know. I just felt it was so uninteresting. Like it was just like a lot of non sequiturs just like pieced together, and like the whole um Sharon Tate storyline just felt like kind of like pointless. Like she was there throughout the whole movie, and then like really it was almost like kind of like a fake out, like gotcha sort of thing.
Hmm.
Um I'd say that my favorites are like Jackie Brown is always going to be my favorite. And it's probably the thing is like Jackie Brown is the least Quentin Tarantino of all of his movies. So I don't know if that has something to do with it, but it's just like that's like the ultimate hangout movie to me. And I think that just like the characters are so well written. It's based on an Elmore Leonard novel, and I think that he follows the material very closely. Like he changed it because like he made it like she's not a black woman in the book. And I don't think her name was Jackie Brown. I think it was like Jackie something. But he like customized it for Pam Grier specifically, and it was sort of like an ode to black exploitation, but it's not a black exploitation film. Like there's qualities to it that like, oh, this definitely feels like a more mature, like it's like it could have been one of her characters uh
Mm.
20 years later. But that and Inglorious Bastards, I say like those are my favorites.
Yeah, I love that movie so much.
Hmm.
But yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I liked it. But yeah, I just thought it was okay.
Yeah.
But I think I do notice that Tarantino he does love to have these like long-winded conversations with his characters. Like they'll go on and on about something that isn't really relevant to the plot. But I guess
Yeah.
that is saying a lot about them. Like it's getting you into their heads, but it's very much like almost like you something you read in a book rather than typically see in a movie. Just these like long monologues from a character that
Yeah.
often have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it has to do with the character. Like that's what it is.
yeah.
Like I was talking to you before we started because I started watching The Sopranos again. Because I haven't seen it since like the first time it was on television. I'm like, you know what? I want to revisit the show. And so much of it is like there's a lot of like exposition and just like sort of like Tony and his crew, and they're just talking about like crime stuff, like anything like mob related. And it's like a lot of it just goes over my head because it's exposition and they're just talking about like jobs and whatever that I kind of tune out, but I'm still invested because I like the characters, and I'm like, and I love seeing like their like idiosyncrasies and their interactions. But it's like, like the family stuff and like all the drama, like that is what is entertaining to me. So it's like I'm not really there for the plot, I'm there for the characters, and then the plot just sort of happens. And I think that that's a lot of Quentin Tarantino films. But I don't know if
Yeah.
there's really like any scene like that in this movie. Like I feel that for the most part, like everything is very plot driven. And
The Texas Ranger, that's where I thought of it in the beginning.
yeah, that's probably the most like Tarantino-esque bit. But what's interesting is like once they get to the bar, Richie kind of just like he stops having dialogue.
Hmm.
He almost like stops being a character. Like he's just there, and he's
Yeah.
been so talkative the whole movie, and like suddenly I guess maybe now that he's just surrounded by like naked women, that he's just like in his element and just like has nothing to say, nothing to bitch about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it's very noticeable. It's just like the shift in the movie. Um and it's almost like her dance, there's almost this like supernatural quality to it. It's just like the the energy is shifting. And I know that you said that like the Cheech Marin character coming back in, like that was sort of the catalyst and like why everything went haywire. But I
Hmm.
don't like, I think that they would have killed everyone in that bar anyway. I think that that's just sort of what happens. Like every night, like truckers and bikers come in and then they get them all like liquored up and whatnot, and then they start feasting on them. So I
Yeah,
don't know
I
that it was
agree.
like really anything that, was a causation of like what the Gecko brothers did to like beat that guy up. But they even say like, because he's like, "Do you guys serve food here?" And he's like, "Best in Mexico." And he's like, "Send a waitress over to our table." And I'm like, that never happens because he's talking about like they're the food. Um,
Mm, see.
Also, I guess when they were casting George Clooney, because Quentin Tarantino like saw him or like on ER or whatever, he's like, that guy's gonna play my brother. And there's like an interview somewhere that you could probably find it really easily where Tarantino's just going on about like, oh, George Clooney's so cool, and like, like if there, because I guess he had just already cast himself as Richie, and he's like,
Hmm.
yeah, if there's someone that's gonna play my brother, it's gonna be that guy. We look exactly alike. And George Clooney is just sort of like rolling his eyes, like, sure,
I hope
whatever
he
you
was
say.
kidding. I would hope
I
he
don't
was
think he
kidding.
was. I don't think that Quentin Tarantino kids. Like, I think that he's very serious
He
about
believes
like
his
everything.
own
Yeah,
obscurities. Yeah, wow.
yeah,
They look nothing alike.
yeah.
He has such a weasel, like wise guy kind of face. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, no. And I saw that. Well, I remember hearing that George Clooney really liked, what was it, Desperado, the movie that Rodriguez
Yeah,
did before this, and that he really wanted to like action, like fight scenes. So like at the end, they had to make sure to give him like some good punches and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love that they like designed this whole tattoo for him, and it's just covered up the entire movie.
It was a little distracting.
Yeah,
In one of his close-ups, all I could stare at was the tattoo, and I don't know if it's because I'm doing a lot of like fake tattoos right now for what I'm doing, my
yeah,
portfolio, but like all I could stare at was that huge tattoo.
hmm,
So I'm glad they covered it up because I'm like,
yeah,
I can't even look at your face.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure that they didn't have it on like the entire time, but
Hmm.
there are behind the scenes photos, and he has it. So I think that maybe they did. They just like every day they're just like, we got to apply your tattoo. That's
Yeah,
that's why the movie cost $19 million because they had to,
right.
have the budget for George Clooney's tatattoo and
You have
apply
to
it
have
every
so many.
day.
You have to have so many versions of it, and it has so it can look the same every day. And like, yeah, you apply it every day just in case because you just never know what the shot will be. So it's applied
Yeah.
every day, and it's waterproof. It's alcohol based, so only alcohol takes it off.
Yeah. Craig is saying, I don't like fictionalizing history to that extreme. Inglorious Bastards is an exception. Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
fair.
I guess that's one thing that I will say about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is like the fact that Sharon Tate lives and like the way that like I mean it's a happy ending for what like
Yeah.
didn't really happen in real life. So
Hmm.
I don't know. There's a part of that where it's like, oh, cool, but like, yeah, didn't really happen.
But at the same time, it's just like how would they tackle that if like they actually did stick to reality? Like it would have been met with criticism. And I know that like I guess when he was making it, he had consulted with her family
Oh,
or like relatives or something, and they were very happy with it. They're just like felt it was like very
oh,
tasteful. Um, but yeah, like
tateful.
I guess like for Inglorious Bastards, like for me it was more just because it was such a surprise. It was like a twist, like, oh, we're not following history. And I mean that should have
Hmm.
been clear when they started playing David Bowie, you know, during the one of the montages or something. It's just like, wait a
Hmm.
minute, this is the 1940s. But yeah, what else we have? Black Sun, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a boring, pointless slice of life film, and the ending violence is uneven and out of place. Yeah, and that's where Mikey Madison gets set on fire for the first time, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm. Amethyst, Seth's weapon at the end seemed kind of impractical. I mean, all of the Fullers would run out of ammo eventually. especially Kate's crossbow, but Seth's giant drill stake seemed too slow. It's also it was one of those things. It's almost like a jackhammer. Like you have to like
Yeah.
stand there and like there's vampires coming at you from every which way. So yeah, it did feel very, very much like you would just be setting yourself up for failure there. I
I did love
honestly
that
just
montage though of them like building the weapons. It reminded me of Scary Movie 2 when she's like in the freezer
um
and the montage of her building the tractor. It
hmm.
reminded me of that.
I have to watch Scary Movie 2 again because that just sounds like
Yeah.
Hollow Man, what you described, if
Yeah.
locked in a freezer. But yeah, I think it would have been more interesting if they found like a different way out of that room. Like maybe that's the thing. Like we find out at the end of the movie that this is like a huge sort of like temple pyramid situation that I would have liked to have seen them kind of like go deeper into the belly of the beast, as it were, and sort of like explore this vast environment rather than just like we're locked in this room, then we're gonna go back out into like the main area there. So that was always kind of disappointing.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe that was just for the reveal at the end, just so it could be this. It was a cool reveal to see that it's like actually a huge temple and not just a bar. So I thought that
Mhm.
was really cool. But I actually thought that was a cool shot that they do when like they run down that long hallway. It's like a cave that leads to a back room, and you see all these bats flying, and then like
Yeah,
it's like a close up of them like trying to close the door, and it's like a one of the bats had transformed into a vampire. It was just a really cool transition, and I thought that was really cool.
yeah. Plotless, not pointless. That's sorry, Black Sun. I cannot read. I need my glasses. Uh, Quentin
Well,
recently said Clooney is not a good actor. Did he lump George Clooney into to what is it, like Paul Dano and Matthew Lillard, and there was like another one as well.
I remember him saying that about Paul Dano for sure, but
Yeah,
or
I don't
Dano,
know.
whatever.
It's like on one hand, like it's like just stop being such a dick, but on the other, it's like I appreciate the lack of filter, and
Yeah,
it's like it
just
almost
saying
like
saying the truth, saying what you feel to be the
saying what
truth.
you feel. Yeah, you're true. Like it's almost like John Carpenter. Just like every interview he does, just being like, well, I didn't really like that, and this is stupid, and I don't get that, and I'm just a grouchy old man. I just want to like smoke weed and play video games like all day. Which I just think is hilarious. But I think like there's more of a charm to it when John Carpenter does it as opposed to like Quentin Tarantino, where it feels
Yeah.
like there's always like a layer of like it's almost like it's personal. Like it's just like a nastiness about it.
I can't remember the context around it. Like I think that's always important
Yeah.
because I'm like, was he asked about those people or did he just for some reason get on a microphone and say I hate all these actors? Like I think there was
Yeah.
some reason he was asked or something.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, Matthew Lillard is a great actor. Like, that's the thing. It's just like, like, especially when I
Yeah.
think of Scream, like that, like his ability to take a character that like on the page was not really all that fleshed out and developed and like make it like so memorable. Like I'm not crazy about like what was in Scream 7, but
Oh
I think
God.
that at least in terms of like what he did with the original, like that's talent. So I
I thought
think
he was great in Scooby Doo. I thought for him to be able to play Shaggy so
mm,
like perfectly, like that's
yeah.
a hard role to play, and like not just be an idiot. Like he literally played it like lived in, like genuine.
Mhm.
So I think he's a great
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scream 7, not so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Scream 7 was just leaning more into the expectations of,
Yeah.
what it had to be and like, him included as well.
Yeah, his part in Scream 7 felt like something that you'd make for the fans at like at one of those cons, like him playing Stu, like in the video for like,
Yeah.
hey everyone, thanks for coming out to my con. Like that's what
Yeah.
his character felt like in Scream
Welcome to
7.
my makeup tutorial.
That that
Yeah.
very much
Could have been
too. Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Watch how
yeah.
I put on these scars and make it look not real at all.
Yeah.
Um
I'm gonna put on my AI filter.
yeah, which they should have just done an AI filter. They should have just done that. Anyway, we can't talk
Yeah.
about that movie again. Um
We're not
do you
allowed
think
to.
do you think we should pick cherries or What do you think?
What are you look at you trying to rush me along here tonight?
You
Let's
know, it's, later for me than it is for
it's
you.
cherry picking time. All right.
We got to the
Well,
end.
then having said that, let's get to the cherry picker.
It's not like we kill people on purpose.
Alrighty, who is the cherry on top of From Dusk Till Dawn, do you think?
I think Seth.
Seth? Mr.
I think
George
Seth.
Clooney?
Mr. Clooney, I think he was great.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I would probably lean more towards Juliette Lewis.
Okay. I
Yeah,
liked her a lot. I just feel like she didn't have enough meat in the movie,
not enough meat.
but I thought she was good. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it
Okay.
was Seth.
You know what? I just let's go with Seth because it was just my 13-year-old, 14-year-old's secret closeted crush
Ooh,
on Mr.
we all
George
had
Clooney.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go there. So last week we asked you who deserves to die the most in Panic Room. I nominated Junia, you nominated Raul, and then across Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube, the final tally was 200 for Junior versus 132 for Raul.
Ooh, you
But
won.
something tells me that those weren't necessarily votes for Junior, but Jared Leto himself. Uh,
Very true.
because that's sort of been like a pattern in the past here.
He always wins.
It's just like people just want to pick his cherries, I guess. So, Amethyst, Junior's annoying, but Raul was the actual dangerous villain of the group. If Junior wins, it's a clear sign people are just voting against Jared Leto or his terrible hair.
Thank you.
Fear Queer Horror Guru, Junior was the comedic relief in the movie. Molly Lolly. Raul was hands down the most dangerous out of the group and deserved to die. I can guarantee people are picking Junior only because of their
Mm.
disdain for Jared Leto, which is a shame, but oh well. Sean Prinsick Jr. was deceptive, super whiny, and worst of all, played by Jared Leto. At least Raul was upfront with how terrible of a person he was. Leto, I mean Jr., is my pick for the chopping block. I'll admit I'm not a David Fincher fan. His films are just way too nihilistic for me. This is my favorite Fincher film and the only one of his I ever bothered to revisit. Really love Jodie and Kristen in this. They're such a perfect duo. I wish they do another film altogether. I always feel bad for Burnham at the end, like he wasn't really hurting anybody and totally should have gotten
Mm.
away in the end, but
Agree.
that's David Fincher for you. Uh, Sam Song doesn't see poll options. Jared Leto. Xanart Jr., the braids, the face, the whining, the Leto. Saw this in cinema back in the day. Really loved it. Don't know if I ever watched it again, though. Grant Dempsey. Let me take a stab at a non-Jared Leto-based reason for voting Junior. Raul's bad, but Raul's gonna Raul. So death to Junior for bringing him in. That's
Because
that's
Raul's gonna
very
Raul.
that's very sound logic. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Tease Jala Tease Jala Miles. Junior was definitely funny as F the way he got burned by the blue fire. And Ski Boy, oh my, he got it the worst with the fingers being trapped in the door winces.
Hell yeah.
Oh, righty. Okay.
So who do you think deserves to die the most?
From Dusk Till Dawn,
From Dusk Till Dawn, who
in From Dusk Till Dawn, I would say that this is a very easy choice. I would go for Richie. Gecko, Richard Gecko, Dick,
Curses.
Dick Gecko. Because just a vile, disgusting, violent human being with
Son of a.
no sense of right or wrong, good or evil. Even the most rudimentary, or I'm mixing up the Dr. Loomis quote. It's all out of order. He's just a bad person. And you know, it's just unfortunate that he's bringing down his brother, and he got what he deserved. We'll say that.
Well, I think. Hmm. I guess then I'll have to go with my other pick, which is Cheech number two, the guy with the long hair that runs in and in my book starts the whole chaotic fight to begin.
The pussy guy.
Yeah, pussy guy. Yeah. So I mean Richie is clearly number one, but I guess if I have to go with someone else, I'll go with Cheech number two,
Let's see
whatever
if
his
the
name
character
is.
has a name.
Oh yes,
Shay Pussy.
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Him, sure,
Yeah.
because he kind
So
of
so
starts the
board
commotion. He starts the fight.
Cheech Marin plays border guard slash Shea Pussy. You have to say Pussy
Yeah,
slash
pussy.
Carlos. Carlos is the name. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go with him.
Very fun. Okay, so you can vote your heart, vote your conscience. That poll will be open in three distinct places. You can head over to Patreon, and even if you are not a paid subscriber, the poll is open to the public, so you can vote for free. That's an extra vote. If you want to add one to your other vote or other two votes, because the other places are Instagram. Go follow us at the Cherry Picker Pod. You can vote there. And then also on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to us. And if you prefer to listen rather than watch, the RSS feed link is in the descriptions down below. And, even if you do head over to Patreon, appreciate you all for being there and, consider upgrading to, even if a dollar helps the podcast run. You're keeping these wheels greased and making this thing
Hmm.
happen. So we appreciate you all. But Tim, where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me over on Instagram at Tim McKay Beauty.
And I got my main YouTube channel, Zack Cherry, Zack space Cherry. And Retro Bitch Face is my Instagram and Letterboxd, all one word, and Zack Cherry 8 on Twitter. And we already know what's going on next week, right?
I'm so excited for next week. So we're
Yeah.
not doing a movie, but we're doing our favorite and our least favorite characters from the main, most popular movie franchises, if you will.
Well, not characters, films.
Films. Oh,
Yes,
so it's not okay. So
films.
it's did I write it down?
Films.
Let me make sure that I wrote it down correctly.
Yeah,
Favorite and least favorite. Oh, I just wrote favorite and least favorite from each major horror
yeah.
franchise. So it's film from each one.
The films from each major franchise.
Perfect. I'm excited
Yeah.
for us to create that list. How many do you think we should do total? Like
Uh,
top how many? Like
well,
top.
so we got I mean, let's just look at all the big ones. We got Halloween. We got
Mhm.
Nightmare on Elm Street. We've got
Scream,
Friday the 13th. We've got Scream.
of course.
We've got
I
Texas
did.
Chainsaw Massacre.
I know you did last summer.
I know you
Um,
did last summer a major franchise. We could add it in.
I mean, there's four of them at this point. It's and the
It
first one
doesn't
is
feel like
major.
it. In my mind, there's
Yeah,
only two.
yeah.
Yeah,
There really are only two.
yeah.
But you but yeah, I don't know. Off memory, I can't go off of it,
Saw,
but
Final Destination.
I'm over. Yeah, I need to write
Yeah,
stuff down
yeah,
and just see it visually.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a big one. So,
Can't wait.
Craig, subscriptions for the cherry picker, that is. Or I see. I just followed you on Instagram, Tim, and yes, the subscribers have gone up. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. We love
Yay!
it. Amethyst is saying Final Destination, Saw, Chucky. How can I forget Chucky? I don't know.
That's
I
right.
did. I did
That's
though.
right.
But yeah, I was having a moment. I was having another brain fart moment. But yeah, that's what's going on next week. So you know what to do. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will be right back.